Hello guys, hello once again. It was a long time since my last video, I believe. I did it in November when I bought my Omega Seamaster. And today I'm making a video for my newest acquisition, which is the now discontinued Rolex Explorer 214270 model. The funny thing is that I actually did a video about this watch like a couple of months back, almost the moment I bought it, but turned out that my microphone had a really low battery, so the video had no sound whatsoever, and this was very frustrating, of course. At the time I didn't feel like going to the store and buying some of these batteries, which are actually very difficult to find. So yeah, and due to the pandemic, all the closed stores, etc., it took me a lot of months to make this video for a second time. But hopefully you're now going to be able to watch the better version of this video. So let's continue right on with the unboxing, of course, because I know you guys hate listening to these intros and not being able to see the watch, etc. So yeah, first of all, just a couple of things. I bought this watch brand new from the AD. I pre-ordered the watch on Christmas, and I got the call in the middle of February. So yeah, it was actually less than 2 months until from the pre-order till I actually got the watch. So this was pretty fast, I guess, at least from what I've heard all over the internet, for the Rolex steel models being very difficult to obtain, etc., etc. It wasn't that difficult for me. And keep in mind that this is, of course, my first Rolex. So, usual Rolex cardboard box with the green box inside. Nothing special about these boxes. I believe you've seen it plenty of times. I think this is the medium-sized box, and I have 3 different sizes: small, medium, and large one. And the larger one is reserved for only the gold models. I'm not sure really, but all I know is there are 3 different sizes of boxes. So this is the watch, the Rolex Explorer, with the tag and spare links. Actually, there's nothing much to the whole box and packaging, etc. The usual beautiful green Rolex. What is this? The menu? Yes. And also the warranty with the warranty card, which is the new warranty card with without the name of the buyer, and with the golden and all over the. So this is the box. Let me take the watch out. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to say about this watch is that I have been wearing this watch for, what is it now, 3 months straight since I bought it. I have hardly taken this watch off my wrist. It might be a little smudged. There might be some gunk on the bottom of the case, on the clasp. But yeah, this is because I'm wearing the watch. I'm not going to polish it, to wipe it all through this video like some other psychopaths are doing when they have been reviewing their Rolexes. No, I'm not going to do that simply because I'm wearing this. This watch I've bought to wear and not to keep in my safe and wait for the price to double or triple and etc. etc. So, first a couple of words about the dimensions of the watch. The size of the case is 39 millimeters. The water resistance is 100 meters. The power reserve is 48 hours. The caliber on this one is the 3132, and the case is 11 millimeters thick. According to me, this is the perfect size for a watch. Also, the caliber is the oldest one, the 3132. I believe last year Rolex presented their new caliber. Was it 3135 if I'm not mistaken? And the difference with this one is the power reserve and the rotor, which is now on ball bearings, and it's not on a pin like this one, but from what I've read about, for example, this new rotor, is that it is very difficult to change if you have some problems with it and you need to change the entire rotor assembly, etc. etc. But yeah, and in addition, it is of course more expensive to service. So yeah, I should say I prefer the 3132 caliber, which I got in my Rolex Explorer. Okay, so you might already know these guys, but this model was just discontinued like a couple of weeks ago. Somewhere in the beginning or in the middle of April, they discontinued the 39mm Rolex Explorer and they presented two new models, both in 36mm, and one is a dual tone with rose gold, which I find absolutely hideous, if I must say. Okay, so why did I buy this watch, guys? Well, I bought it. First of all, I was really considering four Rolex models, and those four models were this one, the Oyster Perpetual, the Datejust, and the Air King. So I actually went to the AD, and they didn't have the Air King, but I managed to look at the Air King at a friend of mine, and whoa, it was bulky as hell. The case was huge, a very big, thick case. I believe it's 14mm thick, and it was heavy, and it didn't have the double lock on the clasp, so yeah, it wasn't definitely my watch. The other two models, however, they did have at the dealership. They actually had a Datejust, a 36mm one and a 41mm one. The 36mm Datejust was in green, and I tried them both, and they weren't the perfect size, you know. The 36mm was way too small, and the 41 looked just a little bit bigger for my wrist, while this, I believe, is the perfect size for my wrist. It looks, wears and feels just perfect. So yeah, and then I tried the 36mm Datejust, and I really liked it. It was, I believe, the blue dial with the Jubilee bracelet, but the thing with the Datejust was that there was just too much polishing at the watch, and not too much polishing, but the polishing on the Rolexes, it's so good, it's so fine, so brilliant that it really shined and felt like some kind of a jewelry and not a watch. And you might say it was a little bit too blingy for me, and I didn't like that. And the Jubilee bracelet was polished. It was way over polished for me, so I preferred the Explorer with the matte finishing. And I actually chose this watch without looking at it. I just went to the dealership that didn't have the model. They had the rest of the models, and I decided, well, since the Air King is too big, the Oyster Perpetual 41 is too big, the Oyster Perpetual 36 is too small, I'm getting the 39mm, so I guess it should be fine. And guess what? It is fine. It is just perfect. How do I feel about this watch now after wearing it for 3 months? It is really comfortable. I can put it on my wrist, and I can sleep with it. You just put it on the wrist and you forget that you're wearing a watch. I really feel like this is, I know this is just my opinion, but I feel like this is the greatest sports watch from Rolex. And I know many of you guys like the Submariner. And I'll even go as far as comparing it to, for example, the Nautilus, or maybe even the Royal Oak, but it has absolutely the same design. It is an entire made of steel watch. The clasp, the lugs, everything, the bracelet is integrated. I absolutely love it. And at the beginning I thought that I was going to miss some complications like the date, the bezel. I thought that the dial was too dull and boring, but this is absolutely not the case. I simply fell in love with this watch, and I'm happy that I did, because most of the reviews of this particular model on the internet are like, whoa, yeah, it is a great watch, but it feels too dull. It's not possible to have a one watch collection made of an Explorer one. Well, I beg to differ here. I think that this makes the perfect one watch collection. I don't feel like I need any other watches. I feel like this could fill absolutely all cases. For example, it is a great daily sports watch. It is also, it could be a dress watch, of course. It looks great with a suit. I've already tested it with a suit, just because it looks so classy and the design is timeless. And the dimensions, of course, 39mm, height of 11mm. It goes under any cuff, any sleeve, so yeah, there is no problem wearing it as a dress watch. The other thing I love about this watch is that the minute I bought this one and I wore it for a couple of weeks, I just somehow realized that I don't need any other watches, and I almost stopped looking for other watches from other brands, other models, even other Rolex models. Somehow my collection felt completed after I bought this one. It is a really strange feeling, but it's a nice one. It's a feeling of completion. And this is great for a watch collection or a watch collector, because finally you're going to be able to stop putting money into watches, hopefully. I also want to talk about my dealership experience and about a quality control issue I noticed with this particular model. So, first of all, I've seen many Rolexes on the internet with some, well, let's not call them imperfections, but for example, the rehaut is not aligned perfectly, and I don't know if you're able to see mine right now, but I can assure you somehow I got a perfectly aligned rehaut on my watch. The other thing is that I also have my crown aligned, the logo on the crown, I mean, and I have rarely seen a Rolex with an aligned crown logo and an aligned rehaut ring. So yeah, this is really great. But let's talk about the dealership experience first. So when I went to pre-order it, I went to the store. It was nothing, absolutely nothing special. I won't say they paid any attention to me. I just went in, asked about the model, and they were like, yeah, sure, you can pre-order it. You need to pay 30 or 40% of the price, and you'll have the watch by the end of April or May. And I was like, well, okay, fine. I prepaid for the watch. I think I paid 30% of the, yeah, exactly 30% of the price. And when I went out of the store, the guy told me, well, there is a possibility, actually, we think we're going to be able to have the watch by March, by the end of March. And I was like, whoa, okay, that's even better. And the fact is that I actually got the call mid-February, which was even best. I don't know why they tried to prepare me for such a long waiting time, but I don't mind. This was okay. The entire experience, however, with the store and with the guys from the store wasn't so great. I mean, when I entered the store, firstly, I noticed that I think was it all of them, or at least two of the guys were wearing the green Submariners, and I was like, oh wow, are these actually the guys who own the store, or are they just salespersons or whatever? And well, there was this feeling from my side. I felt slightly inferior, of course, because they had the hook, and yeah, this was a little frustrating maybe. And then when I started asking questions, they were answering my questions, but they were a little bit reluctant. I don't know why. Of course, I didn't go into the store with shorts and a t-shirt. On the contrary, I put a shirt on, a suit, but whatever. By the way, one of the things I love about this watch is the micro adjustment, which is only 5 mm, but it is exactly the amount needed in case your wrist is swelled, or for example, I hand it over to a buddy with a slightly bigger wrist and he needs to try it. But yeah, so the second time when I went to the store was to pick up my watch, and the most frustrating thing happened. They overcharged me. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, about 40 euros over the retail price. I have no idea why. I didn't ask. I was absolutely frustrated by that fact, and if some of you guys don't believe me, of course I have the original invoice here, so yeah. I have no idea why I got overcharged. As far as I know, the price for this is fixed, and it's 7,000 USD or 6,150 euros. Well, I was charged 6,200 euros for some reason. This is absurd. And I actually tried, after I went home, I tried to reach out and ask Rolex about this practice, but the other absurd thing is that I couldn't find a direct contact for Rolex anywhere. So yeah, whatever. I guess I won't be their customer anymore, since they're overcharging their customers, or just me, or I don't know. And yeah, the other frustrating thing is that, of course, the first time I went to dealership and when I saw the guys with the hooks, I asked them right away, hey guys, what is the waiting time for this hook? And the answer was, oh, don't even try. Wow, don't even try? Really? Is that how you talk to your customers? Pathetic. I'm definitely not going back to this store. But anyway, this is for the AD experience. Oh, another thing. When I go to other dealerships, for example, when I went to buy my Omega, I was treated pretty nicely. They offered me some drinks, etc. Well, they didn't at the Rolex dealership, which is strange. So, 2 weeks after I got it, I started taking shots of this watch with my macro lens. And believe it or not, I noticed some slight imperfections with the superluminova on the 3-hour marker. These are not visible with a naked eye. They're absolutely not visible even with the loupe, with a 2-3 times magnification. These were only visible on my macro lenses. So I'm going to show you the picture now, guys, of the imperfection. So yeah, the first time I noticed that imperfection, I was really frustrated, and I was concerned because I didn't know if this lume is going to start to flake, for example, or I don't know, I have no idea. But I was a little concerned, and I posted this picture on internet forum, and like most of the guys were like, well, this is an acceptable quality from Rolex, you have paid so much money and you get this, so wow, you should return it right away, this is unacceptable, wow. And the rest of the guys were like, well, you should just enjoy your watch, it's not a big deal, and this is actually what I'm doing, I'm absolutely enjoying it. But anyway, I actually decided to call the dealership the moment I noticed this. And I sent him the picture as well, and on the phone they were like, well, okay, yes, we can change the dial for you. And at the time, at the phone, I told them, oh, well, okay, yeah, sure, do that. And they were like, okay, we'll give you a call when we have the new dial. It shouldn't take more than 2 or 3 hours, and our watchmaker is going to sort it out. And I was like, well, okay, good customer service. Thanks, guys. And you know what? I haven't heard from them since then. It's been what, more than 2 months, and they haven't called, they haven't reached out, so this is just another red point for this particular Rolex dealership. It is just pathetic. And yeah, anyway, now I don't really want to have the watch opened and have the dial changed, because as I said, this is absolutely not noticeable, and the watch is really perfect for me. And yeah, this is all I wanted to talk about today for this acquisition. I know that I probably didn't cover any points like accuracy. Actually, you know what? Let me check what the accuracy is, because I have been using this app on my phone, as you guys know, and I'm timing all my watches. So here is it. As you can see, the Tudor, my Tudor is currently my most accurate watch. Of course, if we're not accounting for the Breitling Aerospace, which is a quartz watch, but anyway, as you can see, the accuracy of the Rolex Explorer is 1.1 seconds per day, which is totally fine, of course. It is actually great. After all, it is a COSC certified watch, and this is expected. Other than this picture I showed you, I haven't really had any issues with this one. It's really perfect, really good looking. The crown action is absolutely sublime. It screws out so good, and the winding action is perfect, and the screw down is also very easy to do. It is really great. The quality is fantastic. I haven't owned a watch with a better quality than this Rolex. The one that might be compared to is probably my Omega Seamaster, which gets the closest to this quality. But yeah, it's a fantastic watch. The clasp is fantastic. The build quality is superb. There is absolutely no issues with any of the mechanics of this watch. The super lumino is great in darker areas. I'm absolutely pleased with this one, and I'm happy that it is probably going to be my last. So this was all from me, guys. I hope you had fun watching this review, and if you have any questions for the dealership for this particular model, you can leave them in the comments. Bye for now.